All right, greetings and welcome to the Developing Dad podcast. Another lunchtime live. I know it's not lunchtime for most people, but it is lunchtime where I am. Well, wait, no, it's lunchtime somewhere. It's not lunchtime where I am. But got another topic. I was at the car dealership during lunchtime today, so I figured I would do one a little bit later in the day because I wanted to do one. Why not? I like doing lives, hanging out with you all. It's another flavor of bubbly. Bubbly. I'm looking for my brand deal. Passion, right? Passion fruit bubbly. Bring it. Bring it. Give people a chance to get in so they can so we can actually talk about some of this stuff. You see the title of the live? Should black men embrace femininity? Should they? Should black men embrace femininity? I'm going to go right out at the outset and say absolutely not for those of you. So if you don't want to watch the rest of the live where I make my argument, yeah, you can just stop it right now. But I'm going to make an argument. I'll probably be on for about an hour. But as you're coming in, if you could say hello, greetings. How are you all doing? We're back. We're back. We're back with another one. I've done a live, I think, every day this week. Have I? Every day this week? I think so. I've done a live every day this week. Let's see. Let me check my I'm checking my page here. Yeah, I did the Latin one. I did a February March update. Then I did the Latin one on Tuesday. Hey, how you doing? Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What's up? What's going on? What's going on? So yeah, I did a live every day this week. Come on, I'm 4 for 4. Come on, y'all. Come on. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm ramping back up. I'm ramping back up. Next week we'll start the Patreon. I'll be hitting it for you Patreon and YouTube members. You'll be getting a video on logic, rhetoric, all these other things. Those are coming next week. I may redo some of the older videos and expand them. That's what I'm thinking about doing first, expanding the older videos to add more content, give you more bang for your buck for those of you who are paying. Yes, 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 yes. Hello. Hello, Enenia. All right. So should black men embrace femininity? Whew. Embracing femininity. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. Good stuff, right? We get to talk about embracing femininity. Um, yeah, I already gave my answer. But should black men embrace femininity? What does embracing femininity mean? Okay. So let me show you first where I got the idea for the show. Okay. So let's take a look. This was the tweet. All right. Let me remove the banner. This is the tweet. Okay. The tweet is based on, I think it's a photo spread or a photo shoot or something like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know that I don't keep up with the happenings of what's going on. I've gone back to my normal life of not caring about that stuff. But I did see this tweet. I think Delano Squires reshared it or retweeted it. And this young woman says black men embracing femininity is so important. And Lakeith Stanfield looks amazing. Period. Period. So when when you end something with period, like that's real. That's the end of an argument, right? Right. That's it. That's all. That's all. That's it. Right. So she said period. That means it's over. Now, this young woman, the India Isabel, has since made her tweets protected because I'm pretty sure she got some backlash. I'm just going to be honest. The argument that she made is stupid. Okay, just being honest. Yeah. She said, "Yeah, nah, ain't gonna work. What's up, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" So it's a stupid argument. All right. I wouldn't even call it fallacious. It's just stupid. Like there's no, like this person does not look fabulous. He doesn't look good. Black men embracing femininity is not important. And that's what people began to ask her. Why is it important? What reason? So, what is the reason that it's important? Right? What in the Kevin Samuels is going on here? I think I caught that joke. I got that joke. All right. So, product placement, bubbly, bubbly. I'm gonna go. I'm trying to get a product deal with bubbly. All right. So, because K Dub True has Waterloo. He's trying to get a sponsorship with Waterloo. I'm trying to get one with bubbly. All right. Yes. You see? Yeah. There it is. I look. You know. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it. Bubbly, bubbly. What's up? Right, I said it. I'm trying to get my product deal. I'm trying to get my sponsorship, my placement. I don't have any ads anymore, so I got to generate revenue some kind of way, right? I got to generate revenue. Got to generate it. All right. So we've got this young lady here. All right. Oh, what's going on, JB? All right. Yes, exactly. Come on, man. They will continue. They want to continue destroying our image. It's an agenda. And if you can't see, and thank you for the super chat, JB. If we can't see that by now, I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to show you some things. This is like a timeline of let's see, let's do it. A timeline. I don't know if it's going in order, but here's a timeline of the destruction of the black male image. I mean, it started. Look, so let me not say that. This is just in the movies in Hollywood because the destruction of it has been happening since we were brought to the shores. So the attempted destruction has been happening since we were brought to the shores. All right. So yeah, that's a part of it too. So there's a whole doctrine that was formulated. I'll talk about that at the end of this. A doctrine that was formulated, a doctrine of demons that's basically designed to keep us at the bottom. But I'll talk about that one in a second. All right, so we got Martin. I mean, that's not Martin. That's Eddie Murphy, right? Hercules, right? You know Hercules, right? Okay, Martin, that's Big Mama. All right, because I'm keeping JB's chat up there, her super chat, because it perfectly aligns with what I was going to show you all. I mean, you got, Terry Crews, right? Big old buff Terry Crews. They got him dressing like a woman. And then the queen mother of it all, who just keeps it so ridiculous. Yeah. Medea, Tyler Perry, who's from around my neck of the woods, right? He's from New Orleans. So it is a massive agenda. It is a massive agenda to destroy the black male image. All right. So that is, without a doubt, what's going on. Yeah. Oh, come on. I didn't even know that, Bo, that he claims he's a believer. I kind of doubt the profession of most people in Hollywood. So, I doubt the profession of most people in Hollywood. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm really shocked that that Terry claims to be a believer. Yeah. So, I mean, okay, he does, Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ving Rhames. Look, there's so many of them. Look, B Nizzle, you could go. Y'all could just give me some more examples. Wesley Snipes, Tu Wong Fu. You got so many. It's just it's hard to even go. Like it's hard to list them all. I just picked the ones that came off the top of my head immediately. I figured when we got into this chat, people would put other ones in there. Drop them if you got it. Drop the receipts. It is a historical reality. It's the practice of buck breaking, the practice of destroying the black male image. If you go back and look at all the racist cartoons, whether it's casting us as ignorant buffoons. Yeah, Damon Wayans and Marlon and White Chicks, right? Marlon and what's the other brother's name? What's the other brother's name? Oh yeah, Jamie Foxx, Wanda, right? Yeah. And I've even noticed it recently. Like it's not just black men that they're doing this to. Even I was watching Different Strokes and the dad, Philip Drummond. He cross dressed, right? The Jim Carrey, the OG is Flip Wilson. Yeah, Flip Wilson did it. Jaleel White did it on Family Matters. It is a common. Yeah. Wait. He said, my brother said, we're not ignorant. No, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you would be hard pressed to make a lot of black people believe that they aren't. like that they are capable of achieving great things academically. That we don't come from a history of ignorance. That that's just something that's been from the outside in pressed upon us. If you think about one of the highest earning groups economically in the United States, Nigerian Americans, blacker than me for the most part, like skin pigmentation, right? But they have a culture that breeds excellence, that doesn't stand for this foolishness, that is an honor and shame based culture that would look at something like this and immediately say, this is not acceptable in our culture. We will not allow it. Do not continue in this way, or you will be ostracized from the culture at large. So but instead, we Black Americans are saying, this is so important. Us embracing femininity is so important. What? Are we serious? Come on. Every time I take a sip, bubbly, holla at your boy. Bubbly water, holla at your boy. All right. So, yeah. Right. Yeah, yes. Kevin Hart did it too. Look, I don't even see now you're going a little bit, that's too new school for me. I don't even know what I couldn't tell you anything about Kevin Hart. Is that he's short. That's about all I know about him, because I don't know any of his stuff. Yes. He said, the question for me is there a shortage of flat Black women? So, right. Why are we having a problem casting these parts? Can we not find actresses for these parts? Be nice, Nissel. That's a really good question. Are there not enough fat Black women to take these roles? Channing Tatum, The Rock. Look, the list goes on and on and on. That's what I was saying too. Every time I embrace my daughters and my wife, I embrace femininity. So, yes. So I know you guys, y'all are on it. Y'all are 100%. Y'all giving me more examples than I even had on my list of stuff to do. All right. So, I want to take it really quickly to the scriptures. Y'all know me. I love to go to the scriptures. All right. So we're going to look at a couple of things that I think are very important for us, especially as Christians, to think about when we hear these. Because this. Okay. So let's go back to the tweet really quickly. Right. The tweet. So how would we respond to this as Christian men? Black men embracing femininity is so important. So if you've been following me, you should know the first thing you should do is ask a question, right? What's the question? The question is, why? Why is it so important? Why is it so important? Yes. Look, I'm not even on my game. Look at that. I'm not on my game. Look at. Come on. Thank you. He's on it for me. Like, share, subscribe, folks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, I'm not on my game. It's been a while. I've been off for a month. It's going to take me a while to get back into the groove. But thank you to all the Patreon supporters, YouTube. I'm about to actually put the scrolling marquee at the bottom. I'm going to change it so that it shows the Patreon subscribers for the month of February, for that month, for that whatever month we're in, right? So I'm going to do that as well, along with the Cash App and that, and it'll have the Patreon supporters as well. But, so what were we? We're talking about, the tweet. So the question that you should ask first is why? Why is it important? So what do you mean by that? Okay? What do you mean by that? Why is it important? All right? Why is it important? When she says that Black men embracing femininity is so important. And then the next question should be, okay, when you go back to it, okay, so what do you mean by embracing femininity? What does that mean? Before we jump and pounce and just go and like, rah, and attack, sit back, assess, and ask good questions. Why is it important? What do you mean by embracing femininity? Okay. So he says, I'll take yuck for 200. That dude that played, the old dude that played Thor, he cross-dressed too. Wow, man, these people are, It's really crazy. It's really going on crazy in here. All right. Yes. So those are the questions. We should start asking questions instead of just pouncing immediately and going into attack mode. Ask questions. Why? Why ask questions? So when you ask questions, you put the onus on the person who made the statement. You don't have to explain anything. They made the statement. They need to clarify what they mean by the statement. When you sit back and you say, okay, well, you have made a statement, you have made a claim. Now you need to defend this claim. I am the one that you're trying to convince. I'm going to ask you questions to get clarification. And in the process of clarification, most times a person will trip up because they haven't truly thought this through. I can promise you that India Isabel woman has not fully thought through her idea of what the embrace of femininity for black men would mean. What would it mean for the black community? What would it mean for black women? What would it mean for black women if black men were softer and more like women? What would it mean for black women? Possibly, and if we can just look at society, less marriages, right? That'd be one thing, right? Let's just keep looking at what's going on right in our culture today. Weak, effeminate men allow black women to be what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Predators, like preyed upon. Preyed upon. Black women can be preyed upon when there are no strong black men to protect them. So think about these things. You may know the answer, but has she really thought about it? All right? Has she really thought about it? When she says what she says. Yeah, she said, Anola said, this is why women cannot find real men, right? Yeah, so it's really important. And she said, what do you mean? What do you do with it after you embrace it? Right after she said, what do you do after you embrace the femininity? Okay, so there's really a lot of questions that we can pull out from this. And this is what I do. So just so you all know, when I'm seeing something like this, I'll ask questions in my head about what it is the person is trying to get across. And then whenever, like, let's say a student, so when I was teaching high school last year, and a student would make a statement, a definitive statement, I would ask them, okay, well, this is our process. How do we go through our process of making sure that this proposition is true? First, we have to define terms, right? Go into what are the terms here? Are we speaking the same language? Does this is every term in the proposition or the preposition or the proposition clear? Okay, then you break down the argument proposition by proposition to make sure that each one of them is logically valid, right? That the argument itself is logically valid. That there are three things that you need, and I'm going to be going over the science of this later. I don't want to get too bogged down into the science. All right, so we're gonna go really quickly to the scriptures because I said that a while ago and we haven't gone back there yet. So if black men became women, will black women stay women? If so, who becomes a black man, or is he extinct now? It's another good question. All right, so then you start asking these good questions. The local churches need to deal with this problem because it is out of control. And one of the problems with that, Enola, is that black men have left the church. There's another video that we that I did recently. My brother and I think we talked about it. Black men leaving the church. It's on my page somewhere. We talked about that, and the consensus among black men is that the church doesn't have much for them, and they aren't wrong in most cases. Most of these churches do not have much to offer black men, to be honest. If I were limiting myself to the churches that I saw in my context, I would be extremely disappointed and discouraged when it came to searching. Now, I've expanded my search. I'm like, I don't care where the Christians at, where they teaching the Bible. I want to go where that is, right? Now, my pastor happens to be black, but our congregation is a mixed congregation because all of us, there's one thing that's very across spectrums, across ethnicities, is that Christians of every ethnicity want a good, solid biblical church. regardless of ethnicity. They're like, okay, look, I'm hungry for the word. I don't know where I'm not getting it where people look like me, so I'm going where the people might not look like me, because that's what's most important to a Christian. Where's the word being taught? Where are the people of God being fed? And that's where I want to be, right? So, but that crosses every ethnicity in our melting pot. All right, bubbly, holla at your boy. All right, so let's get over here to the scriptures, okay? Y'all know my tagline, right? You know my tagline. I ripped it straight from 1 Corinthians 16:13. Right? Be on alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. So how does Paul say act like men if there's no way that men should specifically act and behave? So if we're all supposed to be androgynous and this, nobody can tell who's what. Men can be men or women. There's no standard of action, because he kind of it seems like he's stating here in this verse that there is a standard of action for men, a standard of behavior, right? Alertness, firm in the beliefs. Yes. What's going on, Brother Richard? Afternoon. Be strong, act like men. These are things that it seems that Paul thinks men should embody: strength, alertness, firmness, right? And even in the Greek, the Latin term there, viriliter agite. So it's saying act like men. The word vir, from the Latin word for man, means to be courageous, strong, virtuous, of high character, morally upstanding. Those things are what men should be. So it looks like act like men seems to have a clear definition. To the ancients, it had a clear definition. We've said, okay, well, no, we want to be androgynous. Men should be, so the best thing for women to do is to be more like men, which is crazy. That's what feminism teaches. Feminism teaches women to be more like men because men are better. That's basically what feminism teaches. That the stuff that men do is better than what women do naturally. So go ahead out there, women, and be like men. That's weird to me. That your doctrine of femininity teaches you to be more like men. That men are the ultimate. Being like a man is the ultimate for a woman. Seems like a contradiction. But yes, right now, Anola says that. Where do you live, Anola? Put your, I know some people. Send me an email. I will, if you're looking for a solid biblical church, I know people in various different parts of the country, and we can get you plugged into a solid biblical church. I can give you a list of some that would definitely help you to grow spiritually. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, I don't have any ads on my videos anymore. So I'm ad free. The only ads that are going to go on there are on YouTube. So all of this stuff is free if you want to support. You see the stuff down there, but I'm just dropping all of this stuff, the lives, free, everything. I'm practicing the art on the YouTube channel, and I'm doing the science and stuff on Patreon, where Patreon and YouTube members will get the science behind logic, virtue training, rhetoric, and stuff like that. Yes. So, yes, women are designed different. Yes, we're about to talk about that in a second too. Yes. Yeah. So brace himself like a man. Come on. That's it right there. Let me put that one in there since you dropped that nugget on us. Job 38. When we say gird up your loins like a man. Right after Job talked that mess. And God came out the whirlwind. All right. Gird up like a man. And I will ask you, and you instruct me. The Lord was about to ask him some questions. You see, even the Lord came out of the whirlwind, and what did he do? He started asking questions. That's something that we as human beings, we can follow after God's pattern, because a good question can lead to more truth. It can also shut the mouth of the mocker, right? I'm telling you, questions are where it's at, okay? So let's look at this. Jesus talking about divorce, okay? Pharisees came up to Jesus and tested him by asking, is it lawful? I'm going to bump up the ESV. That's where I'm reading from. Is it lawful to divorce one's wife for any cause? He answered, have you not read who created them from he who created them from the beginning made them male and female. Let's stop right there. What did he do? Wait a minute. He did what? He created them differently? Male and female? So wait. If I'm supposed to embrace my feminine side, why did God just not leave man by himself? If I'm supposed to be feminine, what was the point of him making woman? I don't get it. If we had everything that we needed in and of ourselves, why would he create woman? We needed a suitable helper, someone to do the things that we are not naturally disposed to doing. Well, what should you say? So yeah, get a job, cut your hair, and act like a man if you're a female. Then you will become more like a woman, right? All that beautiful stuff. Yes. All right, Enola, thank you for that. Yes, we're gonna get you some. I'm gonna make a note to just make sure you email me. But I'll make a note. Boston, Massachusetts. I will send up the red flag and ask some people about that. All right. Yes, and Fran's on it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, help that algorithm. Now, Fran, I don't even know if the algorithm is going to work anymore now that I'm not in the YouTube partner program, because they probably won't push my videos as hard because I'm not making them money. So we'll see about that. We'll see. But the algorithm may not be my friend anymore since I took ads off of my videos. But it is what it is. We're pushing this word out. We're going to push this word out. Come on. Jonathan already dropped me a nice little super chat. So, I got paid for this one. All right. But he made them male and female. Okay. If we made this, so that's a good question. So if we're different, is there a double standard or just a different standard? Yes. Comment anyway. Yes. Comment anyway. Yes. Let me start that question. Yes. You in Facebook jail again? I don't post stuff on Facebook enough to ever be in Facebook jail. I don't go there enough to post on there. I'm waiting for YouTube to shut me down. I'm about to start posting some stuff that might ruffle some feathers. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, thank you. Come on. Share it on Gab and Getter. Thank you, brother. All right. So he made them male and female. So there are certain things that we're required to do as men that women are not required to do. You notice that in this verse here, Paul is talking to the men in 1 Corinthians 16:13. He's expecting the men to be the ones to be alert, to protect the flock. That's not what he's expecting. He didn't say, he's not expecting the women to be the ones doing this job. There's a reason for that. Yeah. There's a reason for that, because men have a different role. We're made differently, different functions. Okay. I'm never going to bear a child. I'm not the one that's going to nurse a child. I'm not called to do those. Physically, my wife is the one that's doing that, because physically we have different makeups, and our makeup is supposed to support our function. So why would God make men on the whole taller, stronger, predisposed more to physical activity? Why would he do that if not for a purpose? Like, we have a natural desire to protect, to lead, to create, to build. Right. And God gave us the bodies to accomplish that. Now everybody ain't got a body like that. So, but that's another issue for another video later on. We've done some stuff to these old bodies of ours as men. But then even women, right? Women are nurturers. They're meant to take care of our children, to bear children, to take the raw materials that men give, right? And then create something with it. So women normally have more of a creative eye, a bent towards beauty. It's nothing and their bodies support that. I mean, I may be biased here, but I think the female form is more beautiful than the male form. That might just be me. I might just be biased though. But I think God made that's when Adam sees Eve, what does he say? He's like, ooh, all right. Right, this at last is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Ooh, like he was excited with what he saw. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's for the adult crowd. I don't know if I got any children watching. Okay, so male and female, he made them. So let's go. Let's go to this one. Now this is something we may miss. I'm gonna bring this just so that it's one verse, just 24, just 24. All right. So this is something just to think about. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother, and we talked about that. All right, that was in 19:4 as well. All right, man shall leave his father and mother and cleave. I'll say and cleave. I like cleave and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now let's think about that. Why one flesh? Why are these two parts coming together, right, for one? So it seems like that's it. I ain't mess with y'all in the comments when I start talking about the women's forum. The men in here got excited, right? They're like, yes, I agree. All right, we all kind of biased, I think, though, but still, it's all good. I think we biased. All right, but one flesh. Why? Right? Why? See, that's why I say Fran came in the other way. Fran said I would respectfully disagree, right? So that's why I said I'm probably biased, right? The women would probably disagree with us, guys. Okay, so exactly, Jonathan. They are complementary. So why the two separates coming together? Now, think about what that logically means. Why would we need to come together? Why would I actually need to come together with the feminine to bring my masculine into a one flesh union with the feminine? Let's think about what that means for Miss what's her name? This tweet, for the tweet. Embracing femininity is so important. Is it really? Is it really important? If I get all the femininity I need by becoming one flesh with my wife, why do I need to? That is what I would say that we do as Christians when definitionally, when we embrace femininity as a man. Like my brother said earlier, every time I hug my wife, when I got married, I embraced my feminine part. That femininity is found in my wife. No. Look, come on. I don't mind y'all doing that. Look, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun with this. What's going on? All right. So let's have some fun. But the one flesh union is important. It destroys the argument that men need to embrace femininity. And this is the logic verse. This is the verse that I always need to have one extra tab when I think of a verse an important verse. Let me do this. 2 Corinthians. If I could spell it right. 10:3. Starting at verse 3. Oh wait. 2 Corinthians, like Donald Trump said, huh? Why can I not spell Corinthians? Y'all help me out. Am I not spelling it? 2 Corinth? Oh, there it is. Renathians. There it was. I was like, why am I not spelling that right? All right. Look at Uncle Stu in the house. Uncle Stu, I'm gonna get back to you. Back to your email this week. All right. This is my last week off. Even I'm still really doing this, but I'm still doing a live. But Uncle Stu, I'm getting back to your email. Yes. He said your auntie's looking for you. Yes. Accordance is accordance, logos. Those are some really good Bible softwares. It's extremely beneficial. My accordance is pretty old though. I bought this I think in like 2015. So it's probably way ahead. It's got way more stuff in it now than I had. Yes. So, all right. So look, whenever we're talking about an argument made from an unbeliever, this should be our position, okay, as Christians. Look at this. This is Paul talking to the Corinthians, and I read this verse before my logic class every Tuesday and Thursday when we meet before we go into logic. This is our guiding verse for logic. 2 Corinthians 10:3, starting at verse 3, says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare," let me bump this up for y'all. Y'all might be able. "For the weapons of our warfare," let me scroll down. All right. "Are not," let's see, for the weapons of warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ, being ready to punish every disobedience when your obedience is complete. So there's two reasons why I point this out for the students. One, you're not in a physical battle. This battle is spiritual. The second is, well, there's three things. The second is you have been given the weapons you need to engage. What does that look like? That looks like your obedience to Christ becoming complete. You cannot do this if you are straddling the fence. If you believe part of what the world believes and then a little bit of what Jesus believes, they are not compatible. So the idea of the one flesh union would immediately destroy the argument from the young lady in that tweet, because we believe that to embrace femininity is to just be in a one flesh union with our bride. The woman has the femininity that we need. She is our suitable helper, and we have the masculinity that she needs. She doesn't need to embrace her masculine side. She needs to trust in Christ, be fully feminine, and when she comes into a marriage relationship with a fully masculine man, both expressions are completely obedient to Christ, and in so doing, that's when we find the fullness, right? And then I can, like my brother said, embrace my wife. Every time I embrace my wife, I'm embracing my femininity, because she's now mine, and my body in turn is hers, right? So that's where we get the idea. That's how we can destroy every argument, by being obedient to the scriptures in every situation. So the one flesh union destroys that argument that she's putting forth, that black men need to embrace. So Christian black men look at that and they say, no, I don't. I have a beautiful black wife, so I'm embracing black femininity every time. Now, if you're in the interethnic marriage, that's beautiful too. I'm just using that as an example, y'all. All right. So, but you being ready to punish every disobedience. Now, does that mean we go out there and we like call people names and get all crazy? No. Our obedience is won by our orthopraxy, by how we walk. All right. I am a threat to the establishment by just being a God-fearing, obedient Christian, loving my wife, loving my children, walking day by day, right, with the ordinary things of life, with the Latin word mundus, right, the world, or toilet things, or things that make the world go round, just doing that stuff every day, building a legacy, for the next generation. And in so doing, I make Christ's name glorious, and I'm ready to punish every disobedience as my obedience becomes more and more full, as I trust in him every day. Because it's not an easy thing to trust in him every day, because the world is always constantly saying, you need to embrace femininity. And I'm like, man, get that out of here, right? Like you said, with the word, pow, get it out of here. Okay, so that's the idea. Like destroying arguments doesn't mean you go out there and you're mean to everybody. One, it just means believing what the scriptures say, believing what the scriptures teach, and then walking it out, and then sharing that knowledge with others. Right? That's the gospel. That's right. Rebuke it. Right? Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Right. And look, that's right. Elijah, what he says, Elijah, if Baal is God, serve him. But if God is God, serve him. Right? If Yahweh is God, serve him. Stop fence sitting, Israel. Right? That's what he told them. He's like, look, y'all playing. If Baal is the one, let's go with him. Right? And then if Yahweh is the one, let's go with him. But y'all playing around. Y'all trying to go worship at the temple, and then also have the prophets of Baal just as a backup, just in case. Oh, Yahweh might not give us the crops we want, so we're going to pray to Baal too. No, that's not how it goes. All right? No fence sitting. That's right. No fence sitting. No fence sitting. All right? Yeah, the difference is glorious. Fran is on it. The difference is glorious. Glorious. I don't know, right? Changing what the Lord hath made. Yeah. So it's crazy. But again, I promise you, prior to 2012, when the Lord changed my heart, changed my mind, and helped me to see all of these things, I was following after all of this stuff too. some of these cliches that I've heard, these anti-Christian cliches that I hear now, are ones that I spoke with my own mouth. My own mouth rejected the Lord. My own mouth, but with my body, I was living in fornication, living a self-centered, anti-Christian life, never going to church, never giving God glory for anything. That was the pattern of my life from the time I became old enough to walk out of my parents' house until the Lord knocked me down in the middle of it. And I'm married with children now. In 2012, he knocked me down and said, "No, you're about to follow me." Kind of, sort of like, I'm not saying it was a Damascus Road situation where the light shone and all this other stuff. I just realized, the Lord helped me to realize, or open my eyes to the grave depravity of my own heart, and how I was guilty before him, and I had no other recourse but to just humble myself and surrender. That was it. It was either surrender or die. That was the option that became so clear to me. I was like, I deserve hell. Like no joke. I deserve it because of all the stuff that I'm doing, knowing that God disapproves of these things, and I'm still doing them. And I'm making excuse after excuse after excuse, but none of it matters. I was like addicted to pornography, like just so many different things, anger, malice, slander, in church now. Don't forget, like, I'm in church at this point in time too. Had come back to church, but none of it had changed me. By the grace of God, my wife's grandfather was preaching through the book of Romans, and that his preaching and his teaching, really, the Lord used that along with some other things to really open my eyes to the depravity of my own heart. And then he opened my eyes and put his spirit in me and caused me to live, like the Lord put his spirit within me and caused me to live for him. Since that day, July 2012, I have not looked back. It's been rough at times, but the Lord has been faithful. Not me. The Lord has been faithful to me. Yes. So was it easy to get my family, so my wife and my children? Well, one thing, the crazy thing is, my wife was already a believer. My wife was already saved. All right. So yeah, like she was the one that was very. Now let me tell you, like, once. So if you know my personality, and this is a little sidebar, if you know my personality, I go hard. Okay. So when I started learning this stuff, it's like guns blazing. Everybody's got to learn to love the Lord the way I'm loving. Like pow, 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 pow. Like, I come out guns blazing. I'm shooting arrows at everybody. Okay, so that's yeah. So that was a very interesting period of time. I matured a little bit since then, given a little bit more. I have more tact, learned some rhetoric, learned some persuasive techniques and things like that. But yes, yeah. But was it easy to get my family on board? Yeah, my wife was already one who was well read, who knew her Bible. We both grew up in the same types of churches. I knew a lot about the Bible. I just didn't live that way. But yeah, it was actually very easy to get, because I had young kids. So my oldest son was 7. We had two other sons. One was 1 and one was 2. They're Irish twins. And all I did was I immediately start catechizing them and teaching them what thus saith the Lord, right? Just reading the Bible with them, small passages, teaching them the young kids' catechism, basically like questions like, who made you? And the answer is, God made me. What else did God make? God made all things. Why did God make you in all things? For his own glory. So we've done that with virtually every child. We have 5, and we just do that catechism with them. And so, it's just, yeah. Like one of the reasons why I memorized the book of Romans is partially because it's so good, and partially because as a testament to the fact that the Lord used that book through my wife's grandfather to teach us. And he didn't finish; he died before he finished going through the entire book. But as an homage to him, or as a sort of a I guess an homage to him, as a sign of respect, I memorized the entire book of Romans from verse 1 chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 16, verse 23, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, so I memorized that book like 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, something like that. The thumbnail. Yeah. The thumbnail. Yeah, I don't know if you know that, Fran, but I have 15 books of the Bible memorized. So, but it's an interesting thing to memorize books of the Bible. Yeah, it stretches you. It stretches you. Romans is the longest one I've done. Yes, so you say you accepted Jesus Christ when I was young, but foolish and neglected to read the Bible around since I got around reading scripture. Now I have to start and reading consistently back. No, I got serious. There you go. Yeah, reading the word. So the word, one of the reasons why people don't like to read the word is because the word reads them. That was my thing. I put my Bibles in storage. I was like, I ain't want them things reading me. I don't want them things reading me. Don't read me. All right. So we're talking about one flesh. I know we got off a little sidetrack, but I just love hanging out with you all. So I'm just enjoying the conversation. Ask away any questions. But yeah, actually, and look, and Ania, like I'm actually going to start putting some of those videos back up. They're on an older channel, the ones where I did the memorization method. I want to help people memorize because it's not as hard as you think. It's just consistency over time, the same thing over and over and over, just doing the same thing every day. It's like the mundus things of the world. Like once you embrace mundanity, what we call mundanity, right? It's in Richard's name here, right? Richard's name, contra mundum, right? Contra mundum, against the world, right? Latin for against the world. Mundanity is not something that we should fear or reject as Christians, because those are the same. So the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It's been doing that every day, right? The Lord's been doing that, and there's beauty in that. The seasons, the fact that the trees do the same thing. There's a tree right outside of my house. Every fall loses its leaves. Every spring, comes back. The mundanity of the grass growing, the mundanity of the fact that you can eat an apple, wet the seeds, let the seeds germinate, put it back into the ground, get another apple tree, and get a bunch more apples from that one apple seed out of that apple that you ate. Every day. It's the same thing that the Lord has just set this in motion. And as Christians, as we embrace mundanity, so I embrace the idea that I'm just going to put in one verse a day for 400 days. And then eventually I would have the book memorized. That's what I started to do, embracing the same stuff over and over and over again. Consistency over time. So that's how you build into something amazing. Think about the people who are really great musicians. They didn't become great overnight. They scales, chords, over and over again, learning a new song, learning a new theory. In everything that we do, it's always the same thing. That same, just drop in the bucket. Like I teach my children, drop in the bucket. Diligence is a drop in the bucket. Diligence is working carefully and persistently as unto the Lord. So carefully, meaning you're taking care to not do it haphazardly. So when you practice the piano, you use the metronome. You make sure you use the right fingering. Your posture is good. All of these other things. And then persistently means just do it every day. My son, who is 16, started piano when he was. I actually started him kind of learning some basic stuff, but then he took lessons. He's been taking lessons since 2012. 10 years now. He was playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star when I taught him. Now he plays Mozart. The reason why he plays Mozart today, after playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star 10 years ago, is because he's practiced for an average of at least 30 minutes every day, except Sunday, for 10 years. He plays the piano better than I do because he has the 30 minutes. And I spent thousands of dollars on him. So I told him, I said, boy, you better not lose that talent because you owe me some money, right? Oh, man. But, yeah. So, wow, I didn't read the word because I didn't want it to read me. Yeah, I've heard, I don't know who, I stole that from somebody. That's not mine. I stole that. All right, look, so, oh, come on, Jonathan. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Look, I appreciate it. Look, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? I don't want it to be about just growing the channel. I'm trying to grow people, right? So I started the channel out with the idea of I want to reach young men like my sons. So that's the purpose of the channel. So I want my sons to be able to go back and look at these videos and say, hey, that's pretty cool. My dad was doing this same stuff with us, and here's how he applied it to the world around us. Here's how we can apply it as well. So that's basically and then I know what's going to happen is the outskirts of what's going to happen with me doing that is I'm going, hopefully, prayerfully, is that I'm affecting and helping other young men just like them. And that's it, right? So you're probably like maybe 10 years older than my oldest son, right? So like you are the person that I have in mind, right? You're the person I have in mind when I'm doing this, because if it's helping you, then I know in 10 years it'll be helping my sons as well, right? So that's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. So your affirmation and confirmation is actually what I'm going for. Men who are around your age seeing the benefit, and then they're saying, oh, okay, good. And then I'm saying, okay, perfect. You see the value in this? That means my sons will hopefully see the value in this as well. And my sons see the value in it now. They ask to see my videos all the time. They like to see, they laugh at like the videos with me, the Manosphere reviews and stuff. I want to see the one where you talk about that person and the guy was crying. And I'm like, okay, all right. Oh yeah, I told him, I said, look, you better, yeah, Mozart. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's playing Mozart. I have videos of him on YouTube, unlisted videos of him on YouTube playing Mozart. Yes. No. We're not doing Latin classes on Patreon. Latin classes are going to be free because it's a Learn With Me series. It's not me teaching you. I'm kind of teaching you, but it's Learn With Me because I'm still a Latin student. I'm still learning that one. I wouldn't say that I'm capable of teaching full-orbed Latin class yet. Until I finish that Lingua Latina book, I won't say that I'm able to do that. Yes. Perfect. 25. All right. Keep this up. Come on. Keep it up. Yes. What's going on, kings and queens? Yes. See, I kind of guessed that. You were about 26, 27 years old. Yep. My son turns 17 this year. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's the plan of action. Yeah, and I had to, look, Richard, I'm going to be honest with you. I lost sight of that for a while. That's one of the reasons why I took February off and said I got to recalibrate because my channel is moving in a direction that I did not want it to go. So I had to pull back and say, you know what? Let's refocus, do what I need to do to refocus and get the channel back on its track. Yes. So real quick. So just so we blast through this because I don't want to belabor too long. All right. Another thing that the Bible talks about is the attire, okay, for men and women, right? Now, we're not gonna go into an exact breakdown of what that attire is, but it does mention attire as a part of what it means to be male and female. Why do I say this? Because that tweet, you see the guys here, they're wearing stockings and like with high heels and skirts. Okay, so that's kind of important. The fact that men and women are supposed to dress a specific way, right? Peter tells them, do not let your adorning, in verse 3, do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair, the putting on of gold jewelry, or the clothing you wear, but let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. So women aren't supposed to be ostentatious or like dressing in a way that draws attention to them, but that draws attention to their Lord, right? Now that's going to look different in every culture. Like in that culture, it wasn't even an idea that Christian women would wear scantily clad things. They were actually trying to show off their riches by putting braiding and gold jewelry in their hair to let everybody know, hey, I'm balling, right? So but it's about a heart issue. The heart issue is don't dress so that everybody sees you and thinks of you first. Dress in such a way that makes them think of the Lord first, right? So that's dress is important. And then in Deuteronomy 22:5, right? A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. Now again, we can go into a long, drawn-out explanation as to what is man's clothing and what is women's clothing. But what you cannot say is that the Bible does not speak or assume that there is clothing that pertains to a man and there's clothing that pertains to a woman. Now, in every culture, that is going to look different. But culturally, we have an idea of what that is, and what, like, we'll know it when we see it. Now, when you see this, even even the woman, who's probably most likely India Isabel, is not a believer, but she knows that the clothing that these men have on is feminine. It is embedded in her statement. Black men embracing femininity. So even she knows that that is feminine clothing. She couldn't even get around her argument. She's already told on herself that she recognizes that there is something different between what a man wears and what a woman wears in our culture and context. So she's already ceded that point. If you were to get into a debate with her, that point she's ceded. And the Bible already talks about that. So you need to be able to recognize even then that your obedience be complete so that you can point out that fact to her. You've already given that ground away. Right? Answer that fool according to the folly, as Proverbs 26:4-5 says. So you would have to make sure that you pointed that out. So what I'm trying to help you to see is whenever unbelief always has at its base fallacious reasoning. Always. How do we know that? Right, exactly. You're right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Always. Listen, why do I know? How do I know that that unbelieving reasoning when it comes to things of morality and things, unless they're ripping it off from the scripture, but that doesn't believe in unbelief, that every argument that is based in unbelief is based on faulty reasoning. All right, Ephesians 4, starting at verse 17, and I did this one in the video yesterday too. But listen to this. Now this I testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do. Where? In the futility of their minds. Let's look at that word, futility. All right? Mataiotes. What does that mean? Depravity. Right? I could look at the entire. Let me do this. Yeah. And get the full version of it, the full context of it. I pulled off the thing. Sorry. That's one of the reasons why. Yeah. Anyway, so if I pull the instant details, I ain't gonna mess that up, because then I'll mess with the view. All right. So, but the futility of their minds, darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God that is in them, because alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to their hardness of heart. Okay. So again, another verse, right? Romans 12, starting at verse 1. Whoops. Starting at verse 1. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So that means our minds need renewing. Something's wrong with them, right? That by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So this is the same. I'm just making the case, right? Ephesians 2, starting at verse 1. And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, just following it, right? Following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived, carrying out in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and of the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, like the rest of mankind. So we were dead in our trespasses. Our minds were darkened. Tenebris, right? That's the term darkness that envelops our minds before we become Christians, before the Lord changes us and washes us clean and makes us new and renews us. So our mind, the futile mind speculates on things that it may sometimes be close to the mark, but it will always have a faulty presupposition, a faulty axiom, like they're not coming from worship of the triune God. So they're missing it. They're going to miss it. Something's going to be off, and you can always spot it. If, like it says in 2 Corinthians 10:3-6, your obedience to Christ's word is complete. You're not wavering. Stand firm. That's another. Stand firm in the faith. That's why men are called to stand firm in the faith, not to waver, not to be tossed to and fro. Right? That's what the elders are called to do in Ephesians 4:11. Teach us so that we're not tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, because the winds of doctrine are going to keep coming. But our job is to be, as men, to be resolute, to teach our wives, to protect our wives, to protect our families with sound doctrine, with sound living, because our obedience is complete. And that's what we should be embracing as men, right? Then essentially what they're asking, what she's asking you to do in that is to reject masculinity. By embracing femininity, what that woman and the world at large, the culture at large, is trying to get men to do is to reject masculinity. Why? Because weak men are easier to control, and weak men allow like other men to be able to come in and to, if you're weak, knock you out of the way. I've got access to your women. I've got access to your children. Everything that you hold dear is now mine because you're not strong enough to stop me. You're not strong enough. The weaker you are, the more you won't stand firm for anything. The more you just go along with the flow, go along to get along. When it comes down to it, you're out of there. Get out of here, right? Just move you out of the way. What? Let me. Y'all think Putin's scared of them? I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Y'all think Putin's scared of them? When he sees that, he's like, "Oh, America's coming to get me." That's who they sending. Right? You think they scared of that? Right? Stockings and high heels? What they gonna do? What are y'all gonna do? What are they gonna do? They strike fear in the heart of no man. None whatsoever. China's over there doing the same thing. China got their men beating sand. I did a video on China early on in my comeback from the channel. China's got their men over there training to get to be ready to like destroy us, and we're over here wearing really like we're wearing high heels and stockings. Thank you. Even the silly term toxic masculinity. Come on. Yes, traditional masculine roles is anything but toxic. It is the removal of masculinity that will prove ultimately to be toxic to our society. And it's proving to be toxic to our society. Right. Literally playing dress up. Right. You got Russell Westbrook out here wearing skirts. Yeah. I used to be a Lakers fan, y'all, but what happened? Well, I can't root for the Lakers anymore. I'm sorry. They made some, but you know why? Because I don't like Anthony Davis. I don't like Russell Westbrook. I don't mind LeBron. LeBron has grown on me as a player, not as a person. Like his ideas, I think he just legitimately shut up and dribble. But because he doesn't make black men look good with some of the stuff he says. But I'm just gonna be honest, like, but oh boy, but yeah. But that was just a side note because like Russell Westbrook with the whole dress wearing thing, I'm like, seriously, come on. Yeah, I know. I'm still mad about them trading Brandon Ingram and Lonzo and Julius Randle and Josh Hart and all of them. Don't make me cry on this live. and Caruso. It's like every player that the Lakers traded away or that's homegrown besides Russell Westbrook is balling out this year. All we got is a bubble championship. That's all right, though. It's going to be all right, bro. It's going to be all right. Anyway. All right. So let's get back on track. All right. Any questions? Any more questions? So no, we talked about that. But again, the idea of one flesh, that's so important. Rejecting these ideas because we have a doctrine that clearly teaches us what it is that we're called to be. I'm supposed to be masculine. My wife's supposed to be feminine. We come together as one flesh. I got all the femininity I need in my wife. She has all the masculinity she needs in me. That's it. I don't need that. And then the Bible even talks about attire. We know when we see, even the unbeliever knows when they see what's meant for a man or meant for a woman to wear. Our society each society has set those standards. Right? You know it when you see it. Yes. Weak men are easier to control. Yes. Sure enough, they are. Right? Weak men make hard times. Yeah. Let's see how bad it is for men to dress up during pop culture conventions. Ooh, like dress up as women or dress up as like say if I were to go to the Star Wars convention as Mace Windu. I I cannot. Sorry. You know what's crazy? If I had been born when the Pelicans were here, like if the Pelicans were here when I was born, then I would root for them because I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. So there you go. All right, thank you, Fran. Appreciate you. Yeah, I tried. I mean, I guess I was actually rooting. I was rooting for the Pelicans when they had Lonzo and Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart, and they got rid of the kids. I was like, oh, okay. I don't like Anthony Davis. I wasn't watching the Pelicans when Anthony Davis. I don't like Anthony Davis's game at all. I never have. I never have. Anyway, yeah. So I could root for the Pelicans, but I just choose not to. But I'm a Saints fan. I've been one since the '80s. Now, we had the New Orleans Jazz, but they left the year I was born. You know how old I am? That's how long ago. That's how old I am. The Jazz were here the year that I was. I think that was their last season, the year I was born. Bubbly, remember Bubbly? Holla at your boy, right? K Dub has water. I have Waterloo. I have Bubbly. Okay, all right. Yes, basically as women characters. Oh, yeah, no, I would say no. I would say no. Yeah, no. I would say don't do that. Don't do that. Well, I mean, I think a lot of that dress up stuff is a little bit weird, but I mean, I wouldn't do it. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Now, I don't see any biblical condemnation of it. Now, I don't know if there's a biblical positive case that could be made for going and dressing up as characters from Star Wars or whatever. Yeah, but I personally don't do it, but I'm weird. I don't even wear jerseys. I'll tell y'all that. I don't wear jerseys. Why don't I wear jerseys? Because I'm not putting another man's name on my back. But that has nothing really to do with the Bible. It's just a weird thing that I don't want to do. I ain't wearing another man's name on my back. I'm sorry. That's not happening. Nope. The only one, as if my sons, but they have my name. So that's actually me wearing my name on my back. Right? My sons go to the league or anything. I doubt that's gonna happen because they don't like sports. But my sons go to the league because one of my sons is gonna be pretty tall and I was pretty athletic. So he might. He might be a late bloomer. We'll see if he likes it, sports, whatever. I'm not pushing him towards it. But yeah. Even then, yeah. The New Orleans Jazz, yeah, that's how old I am. Yeah. Yes, Putin and yes, they want weak Western men. Yeah, it's easier to take us over. They're waiting for the opportune time. They're going to see what happens. Putin is going to see what happens with the whole Ukraine situation. It's like testing out, oh, okay, how strong is America still? And then China's doing the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, just keep on doing it. Division, right? So division amongst us, weaken us. Yeah, they haven't done it yet. I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime. It may or may not. We'll see. But yeah, they want weak men. And we seem to be obliging. We're like, oh yeah, sure, let's weaken ourselves. Let's promote as much androgyny and softness. And I'm like, what? Why? Why are we doing this? This makes no sense. Why do you want to destroy yourself? I don't understand that. But again, it's a common thing, right? Rome did the same thing. Who was it? Titus Livy, who wrote, I forget which senator was it, he said, we rule the world rules their women, but our women rule us. This is when feminism was starting to run rampant in Rome, right? One of the reasons why Rome fell, right? Taxes, slavery, unemployment, feminism, homosexuality, all of that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, what you got, JP? All right, so do you think there's an explicit biblical argument against men wearing earrings that one could reasonably say does apply now? I was recently discussing this with my pastor. That's an interesting question. Like, that would be one that I would have to look up. I've never really thought of that because I know that when a slave in Israel wanted to be with his master forever. So let's say he sold himself into slavery. He couldn't continue to take care of his own family. He says, you know what? My master, I paid off my debt, but my master is so good. I don't want to go back out there and try to live on my own again, because my master's taking care of me. I got a family here. Life is good, right? He could say, I want to be yours forever, and he would pierce his ear with an awl. Let me see if I can find that. I know that's in in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. All right, anyway, why am I singing that song? You know what? Why am I singing that song? That's weird. I don't know why I'm singing that song. Anyway, yes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so here we go. All right. So a positive biblical case. So you're looking for a positive one, right? All right, so let's look at this really quickly. All right, NASB, Strong's. So if you buy a Hebrew slave, and he shall serve you for 6 years, but on the 7th he shall go out as a free man without payment. Okay, if he comes alone, he shall go out alone. If he is the husband of one wife, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall belong to her master, and he shall go out alone. But if the slave plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out as a free man, then his master shall bring him to God, and he shall bring him to the door of the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him permanently. Okay? So there's no specific condemnation for something being put in your ear. All right? Now, this is what I do with my students. Whenever they ask a question like that, I'll say, okay, so what is the purpose of the earring? Because 1 Corinthians 10:31 tells us, whatever we eat, so whether we eat or whether we drink or whatever we do all to the glory of God. So are we doing this to the glory and honor of God? Or is it something that's adiaphorous? It's like, well, I can have it, or if I'm not, what is it? What is the purpose of it? Because even the idea behind tattoos, there's many different interpretations of that, like how certain things go one way or another, right? Like, should you get that? There's people who are like, no, you should not get tattoos. But the Bible says, don't tattoo yourself for the dead, right? So that preposition is important. Again, so you have to make a case, not that you would say, this is, if you don't get an explicit condemnation against something in the scriptures, look for the precept that can either give you a positive case for it or a negative case for it. So, like, specifically, there's no condemnation specifically that says thou shalt not commit abortion. Like, thou shalt not abort a baby, right? So what do we do as believers? We take the positive case and the negative case, and we say God values life. God says thou shalt not murder, right? We define, can abortion be defined under the rubric of murder? Yes, it can. Therefore, it fits underneath that command, right? So that's how we go about figuring out what if you don't get it, because a lot of people will ask you that question: is there a specific condemnation for X in the Bible, right? Which is a great question to ask when you're specifically trying to figure something out. But then what your pastor should do is help you to walk through how he would make the case positively or negatively. It's easy to just say no. But what he should do is to train you how to do this, so you become a self-feeder instead of him just telling you yes or no. Because if your pastor just does that every time you come to him and you ask him a question, he's like, here, take this. That's like the yes or no answer is just like, here, take this. Like, here, eat this. Instead of teaching you how to prepare the meal yourself. So that's what he should be doing. Training you how to figure out, go to the scriptures. Like when you told me that, immediately this is the place where my mind went, right? Where the all in the ear, right? Is there a place where it's specifically forbidden to put something in an ear? No, actually, the Bible actually specifically for this purpose, something is okay to be put in the ear. Now, does that mean that it's okay to put earrings in your ear? No, you'd have to ask yourself, is this for a godly purpose, right? You have to then it becomes an issue of not just a blanket condemnation for every person. That's line upon line, precept upon precept. There's certain things that may be. Let's just do this. Let's go to Romans 14. So look at this scripture. Now accept the one who is weak in the faith, but not for the purpose of passing judgment on his opinions. One person has faith that he may eat all things. So this is Paul talking about what's going on in the church. Somebody may think, hey, I can eat everything. Remember, you had Jews and Gentiles. Some of them are saying you should not eat food sacrificed to idols. You should not eat pork. I still want to make sure that I'm eating X, Y, and Z, right? This is Paul dealing with this issue in the church. One person has faith that he may eat all things, but he who is weak eats vegetables only. It's like, well, I'm not going to eat any meat because it might be sacrificed to idols, so I'm going to be a vegetarian, right? So he's like, I can't eat the meat because it bothers my conscience, because it might have been sacrificed to idols. Well, the one who eats is not to regard with contempt the one who does not eat, and the one who does not eat is not to judge the one who eats, for God has accepted him. Both are accepted, right? Because they're both doing it from their own conscience to glorify God. That's the most important thing. Can you get the earring and say, this is God glorifying, right? So that's what the Christian should be thinking. How can what I'm doing glorify God? Does it glorify God? Now, there's some things that are just adiaphorous, meaning like it's neither one or the other. Like, should I walk with a limp, or should I walk, straight? Should I turn my feet out, or should I turn my feet in when I walk? Stuff like that. It's like, all right, whatever. You just choose whichever one, right? But and then he asked the question. All right, he asked the question. For who are you to judge the servant of another? To his own master he stands or falls, and he will stand, for the Lord is able to make him stand. Now, if something is not specifically sin, condemned by the Bible, and it's a question of conscience, we are not to judge the other believer. We can't make our preferences and our preferences someone else's precept. We can't do that. So I can't tell you, no, you better not get that earring, Jonathan. I can't tell you that, because I can't find the condemnation specifically in the scriptures for that. Now, if somebody finds one, you tell me. But if you can glorify God through the getting of that earring, who am I to tell you that you cannot do it? Right? Right? Who am I to judge the servant of another? You're the Lord's servant. You're not my servant. That's it. Like that, you're not my servant. I can't judge you on that. Right? So what did you say here? Say, my dad, who's a Christian preacher, and my pastor strongly believe that I should get rid of my earrings, but my stance is that it seems to be a personal feelings rather than biblical. Yeah, that seems like that more. It seems like a personal thing. He may be wanting you to get rid of it because he doesn't think that it projects an image that the world would say, look at you and say, oh yeah, like that's an image of a professional man or someone respectable. That's an older gentleman would probably think that way. I mean, I know that's how they thought back in our day too, back in my day, right? As I get older, I'm the more gray hairs you get, the more you start to think like that, right? Like, Sonny, you should probably not, I'm like, no, I'm not about to do that to you. Oh man, Clement, I took February off to cleanse. Yes, to cleanse. So I'm about to head out for this one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but I'm back. Be releasing content on YouTube membership. YouTube. All of the old series are coming back, but they're gonna be for members. I'm gonna release parts of them free, but then you have to be a member to see the full thing. Patreon, YouTube members will get the full thing. Everybody else will get like a little snippet. You didn't know, Clement? You didn't know I had taken the month off? My bad. I thought I put it on. I thought I put it out there. Like, well, let's see. Hold on. Yeah, well, 13 days ago. You may not have seen it. But you know what happened, Clement? You know what's probably happened? Because I took all the ads off of my videos and I stopped monetizing my videos. They're probably not pushing my stuff out as often. Yeah, so that might be a part of why you didn't know. My bad. All right. Yes. Look, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. Something that's been so good. Something that's been so good. I'm gonna share this with y'all, and I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna let y'all roll out. All right. So, getting off of. Let me pull this banner back. Getting off of this for a little while got me back into the good habits that I had built up that allowed me to be able to do what I'm doing on this channel. Right. So I'm reading more again. I've been able to pick back up with my schedule of reading. Because I love to read. Try to read at least 10 pages of 2 books every day. and but not in an effort to get through them. I want to actually imbibe them. Like when I read books multiple times. So I have this new rule that I won't start. I'll get through the book the first time, and then the second time I go back and read it even slower than the first time, and I create a commonplace book for it with quotes and things like that, like the highlights of what I got from the book. So the first time I'm reading it just to get a cursory understanding of it, of the ideas, and then the second time I'm going through and I'm making notes and trying to improve. But just the act of reading was something I missed so much, because when I read new ideas, I'm starting to connect other things that I've been, in my brain that I've been working on. Like I'm rereading Walter Williams's Race and Economics. I'm rereading Thomas Sowell's not Basic Econ. What's that one? Yeah, I'm rereading this one. Let me bring this back up. He said, "Shame on me." I'm glad to be back. So I'm reading this one. This is Thomas Sowell's Black Rednecks and White Liberals. I'm rereading that one. I'm rereading Walter Williams's Race and Economics, but I'm reading them slower this time than the first time. Right? I'm reading. Still working through this book. That Thank You for Arguing. Just reading that slow. I have a couple of fictions that I'm working through. So I'm working through the Iliad. I read portions of this, but I want to read through the entire thing. And along with that, as I read that, just bits and bits, I'm reading the Heroes of the City of Man along with it. So I'm rereading this one along with that. So like I love to read a lot. And I'm reading The Hiding Place by Corey Ten Boom. Just so much. I love to read. Sometimes I get into trouble where I just try to oh man, I want to read every book on my shelf. All right, but I can't. I don't have enough time for that. Yeah. Yes. So there you go. That's how you start. That's how you start. Yeah, that's how you start. Come on, that's exactly how you start. You say, I just read the 2 or 3 chapters of the Bible twice per day. Also writing down my favorite verses from each chapters. Come on, that's it. Look, ain't nothing wrong with that. Look, let me tell you something. You got a head start on me. You 25, 26? I didn't start doing this till I was in my 30s. I memorized my first book of the Bible in 2014, Ephesians, the book of Ephesians. I memorized, that was in 2014, how old was I? 36. So you got a nice head start on me. So it just takes that drop in the bucket every day, just like putting something in. You're reading more right now than most people are reading. So keep it up, because all it does is that's just getting that foundation, and then you just get higher and higher and higher and higher. I keep telling people I didn't memorize 15 books of the Bible in a day. I memorized 15 books of the Bible in 7 years. 7 years it took me to do that, because my daughter's 7, and I know because I started when she was born. She was born in 2014, so I memorized my last book of the Bible last year. Now I'm actually memorizing the Gospel of John in Greek and Latin. That's what I'm doing now. So I've given up memorizing English for a while. I'm memorizing Greek and Latin. Yes. Knowledge is power. Yes. Yeah. No. And that's it. That's how you do it. You just start. Just get in there. Read. This is what I did. This is not a prescription for anything, but this is what I did. Literally, I started in the book of Matthew around 2012 when the Lord kind of like started drawing me like, hey, I want you to, you're going to be mine now. Come be mine. All right. So I read the Gospel of Matthew, then Mark, then Luke, then John. Now the Jesus that I encountered in that, the Jesus that I encountered that, it's just stunning. I'm the number one stunner. I'm from New Orleans now. Come on. I am from New Orleans, right? So I got all of that. I'm gonna show y'all one little thing from Instagram, and then I'm gonna leave y'all alone, right? Anybody that knows me, before I'm gonna tell my story, but then I'm gonna give y'all this. So that I posted this on Instagram, right? So look at this. Okay, so. My wife and I went to Bath and Body Works today, and and I see they have a candle not just the candle, but they have a bunch of stuff with the fragrance white t-shirt. Now, I'm from New Orleans. The first thing that popped into my head, I'm from New Orleans, born in the 90s, listen to all the bounce music, listen to all of that stuff growing up. I want a white t-shirt. The first thing I thought, I was like, oh, I wonder if they have fragrances for some khaki pants, some All Stars, and some money for the dance. Y'all probably don't know what that is if you're not from New Orleans, but that was what I thought. I'm like, wait, do they have, right? And I even said it right on my little quote. I said, look, do they have the sense for the sense for white t-shirt, khaki pants, All Stars, and money for the dance? Like we need all four of those fragrances. If we're gonna be true New Orleanians, how are you going to do that if you don't have the rest of the four fragrances to burn in your house, right? So anyway, that was my weird New Orleans say. When he said number one stunner, I'm like, all right, well that goes right back to New Orleans. All right, so what was I talking about before? I don't know because I'm old. All right, somebody remind me. I don't remember. So maybe I need to rewind this and go back. Okay, what was it? I was talking about memorizing scripture, maybe? I don't know. I'm lost. I lost it. I completely lost it. What was I talking about before that? Maybe I'll go back. Let me take a look. I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to this. Reading the Gospels. Thank you. Good. I don't have to go and listen to my own voice. I hate the sound of my own voice. I have to do it, though, when I listen to my own videos to critique myself and say, why did you say that? You idiot, right? Okay, so last one hour and 30 minutes and we're going to be out. But I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, right? And most of y'all already subscribed, so I ain't even going to ask y'all to do that. So, yes. The memorizing scripture in different languages. Yeah. Well, I'm learning Latin and Greek. So I'm really, go check that Latin. I'm doing a live Latin Learn With Me series. If you want to learn Latin, it opens your eyes to so much stuff. Whoo, boy. And it makes you very precise in your speech. And it teaches you how to learn words, vocabulary, immensity. Oh, it's just so much good. So much good. Anyway, so I read through the Gospels, and I realized, oh wait, this Jesus is different than the one that I was taught. Like, I don't know this guy. I don't know this Jesus is dominant, even in his earthly ministry. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm petting lambs, I'm doing this. No, he was gentle, and we always hear that part. But he was man. He was like all man. Challenge, like, and in reading, there's a book specifically on the honor and shame culture of the Bible. And it highlights how Jesus' honor challenges between he and the religious leaders of the day were honor challenges where that were basically like him taking the honor and of the Pharisees for himself and giving it back to God. They wanted the honor for themselves. That's one of the reasons why they killed him, because he was taking all of their honor. And honor was a supreme capital in that society. It was an honor and shame based society. So if you were dishonored, there was only so much honor in the world. So if Jesus is taking it from them, from the leaders, where else are they going to get it? They can't get it back because Jesus has it now. He's basically usurping them, because he's pointing people back to God and not the religious leaders. And just reading how he dominated them with his knowledge of the scriptures, with his inability to be confused or to be rattled or to be what's the word I'm looking for? In an argument, debate, blah, 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 blah. In a debate, right? Anyway. But he was perfect, basically, but perfectly manly, in that he was unable to be contradicted. He could not be assailed intellectually, spiritually, biblically, and he was not afraid of them. And he was but that's the Jesus. And he was saying stuff like, you either drink my flesh, or you drink my blood and eat my flesh, or you have no part in me. And he's saying this stuff to people and expecting them to leave, because he wasn't trying to build a crowd and following. He's at the end of chapter 6 of John, he was left with him and the disciples. After feeding the 5,000, he went and told them, now, all right, I'm going to tell y'all some real hard stuff. And most of y'all about to walk away. And they did. And by at the end of his ministry, he was alone, naked, dying on the cross, with the only people that were still there were the women around, and then John, who he gave his mother, gave to his mother to. He was left all alone, experiencing the wrath of God on our behalf, so that we wouldn't have to experience it for all eternity. And in the midst of that life, glorious and victorious now, victorious life because he rises from the dead. That life that I saw in the scriptures was not like I always got the gentle, meek, and mild Jesus. But Jesus was not just that. He was all man, perfect, dominant. Even in his, like, he binds Satan. He's no fear. Like he's walking up to demon possessed people. Boss. No fear. Like everybody else is scared. Jesus walks up to him. Get out of here. Leave him. Just with words. Just like, leave him. The demons are afraid of him. A human man. They're afraid of him. Because they know when he says something, they have to go. What I assure you, don't, like, what are you here right now for, Jesus? Is not the time. They're mad at him. He's like, leave. This is a boss. King of kings, Lord of lords, right? It's crazy. When I read that, that's why I would say, read Matthew to John, because the Jesus that you read in there is going to be different from the Jesus that you hear in popular culture. So I would say, read the Gospels first. And they're going to send you back to the Old Testament, right? Because you're going to have to figure out, what is he talking about? Oh, yeah, right. What is he talking about? Why is he fulfilling this scripture? The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand while I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Like all of these prophecies that he fulfilled, that out of you, Bethlehem and Judah, will come a ruler for my people Israel. All of these prophecies that Jesus fulfills, they'll send you back to the Old Testament. And then when you read the New Testament, the epistles, they're a commentary on what Jesus did. Right? When you read Paul, when you read Peter, when you read Jude, when you read John, right? When you read James, you're going to see, this is what Jesus was actually doing from a spiritual perspective in his earthly ministry. Right? It's literally, it is probably the best way to go about it. Read the Gospels first. I'm not saying that that's the only way to do it, but read the Gospels. If you read the Gospels, it's like, and you know a little bit about Jesus, and you get to meet that one, the one that's in the scriptures, so much better than the one that you've heard about in most churches. The one that you hear about in most churches pales in comparison to the actual one that the disciples wrote about. That'll get you excited to read about that Jesus, the one who existed, the one who was written about, the one who is seating on the throne, ruling and reigning at this moment, putting all his enemies under his feet. And the last enemy to be defeated is death. I'm going to leave y'all alone on that one, right? But trust in that Jesus, right? Repent and believe that Jesus. The one who went into the wilderness for 40 days, and Satan comes at him in chapter 4 of Matthew, comes at him and tries to get him to fail in his mission at the outset, challenges him with the same stuff that he challenges Adam and Eve with. And Jesus does not relent, like he's standing there talking to the devil. And after fasting for 40 days, not eating for 40 days and 40 nights, comes out and says, "Nah, you get none of this. You don't have this kingdom. The God, my Father in heaven, has given me this kingdom. He's only given it to you for a short time. I'm here to take it back." Because Adam and Eve failed. Satan was given dominion over this reign. Jesus comes and takes it back from him so that he can no longer deceive the nations. Now the gospel can go forth. And he does it right then and there. He lets him know your time is limited. And that's why the devil leaves and flees from him. Because Jesus does not relent to the temptation that Adam and Eve relented. They ate the fruit. Jesus doesn't take the bait. Jesus, he tries to give him the kingdoms. He tries to get him to worship him. No, Jesus is like, no. Even at his weakest state, 40 days of fasting. You try to eat, not eat for 40 days and then face the devil. I can't even do that after, I eat a hearty breakfast and the devil comes, right, and my flesh rises up and then I'm sinning. Jesus went 40 days and then still comes out perfect. That's the Jesus that I worship. That's the one. He is the one. That's the one. Do you read about that one? It was like, nah, man. I'm gonna worship this man. I'm worshiping him. He's God in the flesh. He owns everything. Man, you read the God. You know what I might do? I might just do a thing where we just read. We go over the Gospels together. I might do a live of that. We just gonna talk about Jesus. We might do that. That might be something to do, right? Just read and talk about Jesus. Come on. All right, y'all. Until next time, be on alert. Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong. I'll see y'all around. Bye.